Hey there, welcome to Namaste at Home Yoga. My name is Andy, and for today's practice, we're going to warm things up a little bit more, do a bit more of a Vinyasa or flow type practice. So go ahead and grab your mat, find your way to a comfortable cross-legged position, and we will get started. As always, starting with letting the sit bones just soften into the mat, let them get grounded here. Sit up nice and tall, drawing the crown of the head up towards the ceiling, almost as though there's a string pulling up out of the top of the head. And allow the gaze to soften, or maybe rest on a faraway spot. Maybe allowing the eyes just to close. As we start to feel the breath, just noticing where it's resting on its own today. Not changing anything about it just yet. Noticing where we might be holding a little bit of tension with each breath. Where we can start to let go, letting go of the rest of the day, of some of the busyness of the mind as we bring our focus into the present moment, into our practice. Maybe bringing to mind something in particular you'd like to focus on, something positive that can anchor your practice. Drawing that breath a little bit deeper, find an inhale to fill through the belly, fill the chest. Exhaling, pouring it out from the chest, from the belly. Inhale, we fill up belly, chest. Exhale, chest and belly. We'll take a few more of those as we continue to bring our focus into this moment, into this space. And then drawing hands through center. Compress palms together, allow that to make the chest a little bit more broad. And softly bring the chin down towards the chest and flutter the eyes open. Find your way back up to a nice tall spine here. Make your way into your tabletop. Going onto hands and knees, shoulders stacking over wrists, hips stacking over knees. Making our way into some cat-cows as we inhale, belly drops, head, chest, and hips rise. Exhaling, we press through hands and knees, rounding the spine. Inhale, belly drops, head, chest, hips rise. Exhaling, we press and round. Let's find one more just like that. Settling back into a neutral spine whenever you're done, and taking these just a little bit deeper for our next round. We'll bring the right leg up first, and as you inhale, head, chest, and foot lifts, kicking back towards the head. Exhaling to round, draw that knee forward towards the nose, engaging the core. Inhale, kicks it back, head and chest lift. Exhaling, leave round, draw that knee through. Finding one more here. And finding your way back to that neutral spine, that tabletop in between. We'll find 3 on our second side as well. Bringing that left leg up, lifting head and chest as we inhale. Exhaling, we press through, round that spine, draw the knee forward. Inhale, open up, lift. exhaling, we round. Finding one more at your own pace. Again, finding our way to our neutral spine, into that tabletop. You can go ahead and send hips back towards the heels, extend arms out in front of you. Allow the chest and the forehead to get heavy. At any point during your practice, if you need a change of pace or a little bit of a breather, feel free to come back here and join us again whenever you are ready. For now, we'll keep things moving. Inhale floats us back to our tabletop. Let's find our way down to forearms and opening a little bit through the chest and into the T-spine. We'll bring the right fingertips to the right side of the head, moving with the breath once more. Inhaling, we open up. Elbow towards the sky. Exhaling, bring that back down. Inhale, open up. Exhaling, lower. And one more. Releasing that side down, finding your way into your second side. Left fingertips finding the left side of the head. Just gently rest them light. 3 times here as well. Moving with the breath. Inhaling, we find space, opening up. Exhaling, we lower. Inhale, open. Exhale, lower. Finishing up those 3, finding your way back to the mat. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and step it back into a downward dog, finding that inverted V shape. Finding a pedal out or weight shift side to side, whatever feels good for the body today. Making any little adjustments or movements that you might need, and then find somewhere to settle in for a few breaths. Bend the knees as much as you need. Spread the fingers wide, press firmly down through the index finger, through the thumb. And let's shift the weight over to the left foot. Inhale, send the right leg high. Exhale, shift forward, draw that knee to nose. Inhale, send the leg back. Exhale one more time through the center, knee to nose. Inhale, come on back, 3-legged dog. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. Inhale, shift back. Exhale, right knee, right elbow, or maybe higher on the tricep. See where we can rest for a couple of breaths. And then gently placing that foot on the right edge of the mat, just outside of your right hand. Move into a gentle twist here, finding the right fingertips up towards the sky. Open up, find that rotation. Feeling length pulling through the crown of the head with each inhale. Exhaling, hands find the mat. Inhale, left arm opening away from the leg. Challenge yourself to keep the back heel high here, hips square to the mat. And exhale, hands find the mat. Go ahead and step back, downward dog. Beautiful. Moving through our second side. Shift the weight over to your right foot. Inhale, left foot high. Exhale, knee towards the nose, forward into your plank. Inhale, come on back. Again, through center. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, draw it back. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Last one. Inhale, kick up. Exhale, left knee, left elbow or tricep. Holding strong for a couple of breaths. And then left foot placing on the left edge of the mat, moving through our rotations. Now left fingertips first, reaching up and past the leg. Maybe noticing where we get a little bit more space in the body here. Exhaling, hands find the mat. Inhale, opposite arm, right fingertips reach high. Exhaling, hands find the mat. And step it back, downward dog. Find a couple of breaths here, and then we'll start to move into a flow. We'll stick with a modified first as we start to warm up, and then make our way to a fuller flow. With an inhale, we'll shift forward, high plank. Exhale, we're gonna lower to the knees and tuck toes, lower chin and chest. Inhaling, half lift, head and chest lift just off the mat. Exhale to send it back. Downward dog. Let's move through one more modified. Inhaling, high plank. Exhale, lower to knees, untuck toes, chin and chest. Inhale, half lift, hands are laid on the mat. And exhaling back, downward dog. Take a breath or so to reset, and feel free to stick with those or come back to them at any point during this practice. Otherwise, we'll start to shift into a full flow. Inhaling, we find our high plank. Core is strong as we exhale, lower to hover. Inhale draws us forward and up, upward dog. Exhaling back, down dog. One more inhale, shift forward. Exhale, we lower. Inhale draws us up, core strong, quads lifted. Exhale back, downward dog. Send the right leg high. Stepping between the hands. I'm going to set up for a runner's lunge first. Go ahead and square the hips here, draw the right hip back, left hip forward. Send arms back alongside the body so palms are facing towards the earth. Chest starts to lift slightly. Get high on those back toes. Feel the crown of the head reaching forward and up here. Staying as you are, maybe for the last couple of breaths. Arms can sweep overhead, fingertips reaching, biceps in line with the ears. 3, 2, and 1. Exhaling, you can frame that foot. Go ahead and step back, downward dog. We'll find our second side here. Left leg inhales high. Stepping between the hands. Get square with the hips here. Left hip pulls back, right hip pulls forward. Firm through that front foot as we start to sweep the arms back. Gentle lift to the chest. And get high on your back toes. Core so strong here. Belly button draws in towards the spine. Resting as you are, keeping that squeeze back and down with shoulder blades. Stay here for a couple more breaths. We sweep the arms overhead if you have space. Arms coming alongside the ears for 3, 2, and 1. Exhaling, we frame the foot, step back, downward dog. Moving through a full or modified flow, your choice. Inhale, we shift forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, draw forward and up. And exhaling, down dog. Let's send that right leg high. Step outside of the right hand. So strong through the legs here. We're going to find a little bit of a lift through the chest once more. This time arms are going to sweep back, past the hips here, and they can stay as they are. It's a little bit of a wider stance, runner's lunge. As an option, fingertips may interlace behind the back, opening a little bit more through the chest. Squeeze the palms together. We may start to drop that chest forward and down if the hips will allow it, if the legs will allow. Keep pressing high on those back toes for 3, 2, and 1. Releasing any grip you might have. Hands can find the mat. Point the right toes out about 45 degrees. Start to draw the chest forward. Allow the hips to melt towards the mat. We'll only stay here for a few breaths today, so I'll challenge you to try and find some evenness in the hips. Sometimes that left one, same as your back leg, wants to drop a little bit more. See if we can set that up so right and left hip are square facing our mat. Lifting through the back knee, back hamstring. Planting those hands firm, let's go ahead and step it back to our downward dog. Left leg comes high. Stepping outside of the left hand. Finding that wider stance for our lunge, we start to get firm through the feet, lifting gently through the chest and send those arms back. They may stay here as they are. They may start to reach towards each other behind the back, maybe interlacing fingers, squeezing palms together as we open through the chest. Feel the crown of the head draw forward, maybe inviting a little bit more depth to our lean. Listen to the hips here. They will tell you what is okay for a depth of lunge, where we can push, and where we found a good spot to rest. Get so high on the back toes, keep the legs fired up. For 3, 2, and 1. Exhaling, hands find the mat. Stay high on those back toes. You can turn left toes out about 45 degrees. Draw the chest forward, keep it proud, and allow the hips to start to melt towards the mat. This time right hip wants to sink a little bit more, so if we can even that out, right hip lifts slightly, left hip heavy, and find a whole bunch of lift from that back knee, back hamstring, drawing up towards the ceiling. Beautiful. Press firm through those hands and let's step it back. Find your downward dog. Move through our flow. Inhaling, high plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, downward dog. So far, so good. Let's bring it back to that right leg. Send it high. Step between the hands. Bring the right heel down to the mat. Find it parallel to the short edge. Setting up for our warrior 2. Sweep arms up, so shoulders stack over hips here. Feel the chest grow tall. Shoulders start to melt away. And over the next few breaths, we'll start to challenge our depth in the lunge. Each exhale sinks us a little lower, allowing that right knee to stack over top of the right ankle. Heel toeing the stance wider if you need. Fantastic. We're gonna bring hands down to catch hips. Shifting over into our lunge once more. We're gonna pick up that back heel, turn both toes to face the right side of your mat, the right wall. Allow hips to get square. If you need to, feel free to shorten your stance here. Send arms overhead. Crescent lunge. Again, growing tall through the chest. Let the shoulders melt away from the ears. Feel those legs fired up. Can we go a little bit deeper? Last one. Nice. Exhaling hands through center. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, twist. Left elbow towards the right leg, opening up through the right shoulder here. And if this really doesn't feel good, you can bring left hand to the right leg or right hand to the low back. Lifting through the chest, through the right shoulder as it opens. Gaze can follow up and past that shoulder if it's comfortable. Next exhale, we frame that foot. Step back, downward dog. Moving through our second side. Left leg finds its way high. Stepping between hands. Right heel finds the mat parallel to the short edge for warrior two. Float up whenever you are ready. And be prepared to settle in. You know we're not here for very long. So find that depth in the lunge. Equal pressure through front and back foot. So much strength through the legs. Crown of the head drawing tall. Core strong. Next exhale, go ahead and catch the hips. We're going to pivot the feet, pivot the hips to face the front of the mat once more. Turning left. Get that back heel high. Change your stance if you need to, bring it a little bit shorter, and when you're ready, sweep arms overhead, crescent lunge. Hi. Excuse me. Keep lifting high through the chest. Drawing shoulders back and down away from the ears. Last one here. And then we'll start to float hands through center. Inhale, grow tall. Exhaling, we twist. Right elbow towards the left leg or right hand to the left leg. Adjust as you need. Allow the neck to stay long here. Shoulders coming down away from the ears. For two. And one. Go ahead and exhale. Frame that foot. Step back, downward dog. Let's move it through three flows. If you prefer less, go ahead and do one or two. Hang out in a down dog or a child's pose. With your inhale, we shift forward. Exhaling, we lower. Inhale draws us up. Exhaling back. Move through one or two more times, your choice, your pace. Let your breath guide you. Taking a moment to settle into that downward dog whenever you're done. And if you found your way to a child's pose, maybe finding your way back up here if you're feeling ready. Notice how this downward dog feels compared to when we first stepped into it today. Notice where the weight rests, where we feel a little bit more open or more fatigued. Notice the depth of your breath. Has it become a little bit more full, more free-flowing? It's always so wonderful when that starts to really be a habit that follows us into the rest of our day. Let's walk hands back towards the feet. meeting in a gentle forward fold. Allow the body to ragdoll. Head lets go, arms let go. And then finding a gentle roll up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Falling up to stand. Let's fire up a little bit of balance work. It's been a bit. Allow yourself to grow tall. Find a nice big inhale. Sweep the arms overhead. Fill up. Exhale, hands through center. Catching hips. Again, inhale, right knee lifts. Exhale to kick it away. Think about flexing the toes back towards your face. Standing tall, standing strong. Exhale to bend. Replace that on the mat. And when you're ready, second side, left knee draws up towards the chest. Exhale, we kick. Still growing tall through the crown of the head, proud in the chest. Feeling that leg fired up. And exhaling to gently release, bring that back to the mat. Again, inhale, arms up in line with the ears, biceps on either side. Bring the thumbs to point towards the back wall. Keeping that chest lifted, let's start to sit the hips back and down, finding powerful pose. Drawing core in towards the spine, draw it tight. Sit the tailbone back and down. Keep finding length through your fingertips, through the crown of the head. Start to shift that weight more into the heels. We're just firing up the legs a little bit more in preparation for our next balance posture. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, release the arms down. You can catch hips if that feels good. You're going to start by drawing that right knee up towards the chest again. Rotating a bit here so that heel lifts, knee opens to the side. And finding a cross over the opposite thigh. Not right on the knee, but just above. This feels like lots. Standing tall here, pressing that knee open and back, feel free to stay. If you need a little bit more, hips start to sit back and down, finding our chair. You can go as deep as feels okay for you today. Continually drawing tall through the crown of the head, through the chest. Hands can stay at hips. Maybe we float through center. Maybe arms come overhead. I'll leave that up to you. Find another 2 strong breaths here. And with an inhale, we will grow tall. Exhaling, uncross, release. Come on back to the mat. Moving into our second side, left knee draws up. We're going to start to open that hip first. Heel lifts, knee drops. Crossing your ankle over the opposite thigh. Staying here, pressing out and back with the knee. We're starting to find that little bit of a sit back and down. Finding your invisible chair. Some opening through the left hip this time. Allowing hips to stay even, one not rising up above the other. And then finding somewhere to rest hands or arms. Feels good for you today as we challenge this balance, this stability. For 2. And 1. And inhale grows us back tall. Exhaling, we release to the mat. Next inhale, sweep those arms overhead. Exhale, hands through center. Step the feet mat width apart. Turn the toes out about 45 degrees. Inhaling, we grow tall. Exhale, send those hips back and down into our squat. Good. Use that pressure through the palms to help bring the chest open a little more. Elbows find the inside edges of the legs. 2 good breaths. And then using hands however you need, find your way to a seat. Send the legs out in front of you. And we'll start to get our core fired up. I'd love to do boat pose today. A little bit of a variation of boat pose. So adjust it as you need to. Come back to other variations that you know and love if you prefer. But bring those sit bones nice and grounded. Foot soles to the mat. Start to rock the weight back. Hands can keep in contact with the mat here. They can find the hamstrings lightly. Or maybe we start to shift back with arms extended in line with the shoulders. You can rock the weight back so heels get light. Feet start to lift. Find a spot that is challenging for you. Keeping one leg bent, find the other one extended up tall. Keep growing tall through the chest. To more of an active hamstring opener, calf opener. Flex those toes back towards your face. Nice work. Go ahead and release that down. Other leg, extend it out. Keep growing tall. Toes back towards your face. 3, 2, 1. Release that down. Foot soles back to the mat. From here, let's open things up in the back body a bit. So foot soles are planted. You can reach the arms through to grab around hamstrings, or if it's available, reaching through and for the opposite shin. So wrists cross a little bit here. Rather than finding that tall spine, we're going to allow ourselves to round a bit very gently with this one. Chin drops towards the chest, almost like someone is pulling you backwards. Allow the back to round slightly. Breathing in a little bit of space between the shoulder blades. Finding your way back up, we'll just release the hands for a moment, whichever one was on top last time. Switch that up. Other hand grabbing on top, just to even out a little bit side to side. Same thing here, chin drops gently towards the chest. Back starts to round. Not a lot of force here. Just enough to feel a bit of opening through the back, a little bit of stretch sensation. Good stuff. Find an inhale to come back up. You can extend the legs out behind you and find your way down to your stomach on the mat. Strengthened a little bit, well, or a lot of bit, through the core, through the trunk in general today. Just opened a little bit in through the back. So now we'll open up the chest as an alternative. Make sure that we are paying good attention to both, not overdoing one or the other. We'll start by extending the arm, right arm, straight out from your shoulder. Left hand plants into the mat, left foot starts to reach up and over. You can reach towards the side wall. It might come to touch gently. And just go as far as you need to find that right shoulder opener. Taking an exhale to make your way back through center. Go ahead and switch sides. Left arm opening straight out from the left shoulder. Right hand plants. And right foot reaches. If it's available, finding somewhere to allow the head to rest. Letting go of any unnecessary tension in the neck. And once more, using that exhale to come back through the center. Beautiful. Hands can find their way under your shoulders. Get really strong through your core. We're going to press up through a tabletop. Find your way to a child's pose. Hips sink back towards heels, arms extended. Forehead melts. And if it doesn't reach the mat, maybe finding stacked palms or stacked fists, even a block or a pillow for it to rest on here. Using this point to allow the mind to slow down. The breath to follow suit. And be coming back to your focus from the start of our practice. Now gently walking the hands back towards you. Find your way up to a comfortable seat, whether that is seated on the feet, toes together, heels apart, so you kind of have a bowl made with your feet for the hips to rest in. Any other cross-legged position will do just as well, but allow that tall spine to come back. Allow the eyes to close for a moment or so. We'll end with one nice big cleansing breath here. Inhale, fill up, bottom to top. Exhale, side out. Hard work in this practice is done for today. And allow hands to float through center, chin to chest, softly opening eyes back up. Thank you for joining me for a Vinyasa or flow class. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you felt some things working, and we will see you again soon. Namaste.